PPR. This is Pestidis petit ruminantis. This is the one which is caused by RNA virus, but it is not that much unstable that of blue tongue, but it is little bit stable compared to that of the blue tongue. This the synonyms for this is goat plague, ovine rinderpest, and this is first reported in India and Tamil Nadu. By definition, this is acute and subacute disease of sheep and goat, characterized by fever, erosive stomatitis, conjunctivitis, gastroenteritis, and pneumonia. Finally, you can abbreviate this disease as pneumoenteritis complex. This is the one which shows main clinical signs in goat compared to that of the sheep. And this is the structure of the virus. And there are 4 lineages in the PPR. Among the fourth lineage is the one which is widely spread in India. The spatial distribution of PPR, red color indicates infected areas, yellow indicates at-risk areas, whereas rest of the things assumed to be free, officially free. Then coming to the incidence of the disease. This disease is primarily observed in goats, then sheep. The prevalence of disease in goat and sheep, it is about 43.56%. The severity of disease in goats can be observed by observing the case fatality rate. The CFR in goats is 55 to 85%. CFR in sheep is less than 10%. And the mortality rate may go up to 100% in native population and 20% in endemic areas. This statistics itself is telling that goat is the primary host for this particular disease. Of course, there are several theories for the origin of disease. All these things are not at all a matter here. The thing is how best we can control the infection. Then coming to the transmission of the disease, it requires close contact between the animals. Ocular, nasal, and oral secretions, as well as the feces. They form the source of the virus or source of the infection. And the infection occurs mainly by the inhalation route and inhalation of the aerosols produced by sneezing and coughing. Then fomites, such as bedding material or the infected bedding materials. These are the things that are responsible for the transmission of the disease. And there is no carrier state in case of PPR. And the spread is not dependent on the vector. Determinants are nothing but the factors that are responsible for the occurrence of outbreak. Outbreaks, they don't happen at just. There is a series of events for the outbreak. So these series of events are being accumulated by different factors like agent factors, environmental factors, and host factors. In case of PPR, the agent factor is the virulence of the PPRV, that is viral virulence. And environmental factors are stress, stocking density, nomadism, and new animals. New animals play an important role for the occurrence of PPR in the herd. Then host factors, age. Young animals are more susceptible, breed, immune status of these animals, species, current infections. All these things favor the occurrence of disease. Coming to the pathogenesis, entry of virus by inhalation. From there, it is being taken up by the antigen-presenting cells to the draining lymph nodes. There, the virus multiplies and spreads to different predilection sites like distant lymph nodes, spleen, Peyer's patches, and gastrointestinal tract. So the organism in lungs, it leads to the respiratory clinical signs. In the gastrointestinal tract, in turn leads to the gastroenteritis. Whereas in lymph nodes and other lymphatic organs, it causes enlargement of these organs. Coming to the symptoms, acute form of the disease is characterized by sudden onset of high fever. In majority of the viral infections, if that virus is having the property to cause acute infection, definitely sudden onset of high fever is one of the important clinical signs. Depression, animals appear sleepy, watery discharges from the eyes, nose, mouth, and these watery discharges they become more and cause wetting of the face. Later, these watery discharges turn into mucopurulent discharges because of the secondary bacterial complications. And in case of PPR, the hair stands erect, giving the animal a bloated appearance. There are pinpoint grayish areas of necrosis on the buccal mucosa. So this buccal mucosa, it may be on gums, dental pad, palate, lips, inner aspect of the cheek, upper surface of the tongue. These areas gets affected by PPR. There is profound halitosis, sore mouth and swollen lips. Diarrhea is the predominant sign. It may be mucoid or blood-tinged diarrhea. Erosion of vulva and prepuce. Death takes place within 1 week. These are the important clinical signs in acute form of infection. Coming to the subacute form, this subacute form is common in sheep, but also occur in goats. Acting of eyelids is one of the feature. Then diarrhea, soiling of the bag takes place because of the diarrhea. This is the peculiar feature or the important feature that you observe in case of PPR. So these are the grayish necrotic lesions that appear on the buccal mucosa. The grayish necrotic lesions, they enlarge in size, they coalesce, and they form a pseudomembrane, and which in turn paves way for the bacterial complications, in turn leads to the severe halitosis from the mouth of these animals. Very foul smelling breath is observed in case of PPR. These are the mucopurulent nasal discharges. In some others, they mentioned that the jowl edema in PPR. When it comes to the lesions, the carcass appear dehydrated, soiled hindquarters, crusts around the eye, nose, and lips, mouth, dirty white, false membrane, and erosions are seen on hard palate, tongue, cheeks, and esophagus. Lips appear swollen with erosions. Nasal cavity is congested, lining with clear or creamy yellow colored exudates and erosions. Lungs are dark red or purple in color. They're firm to touch. And these lesions are mainly seen in the anterior and cardiac lobe of lungs. Pleuritis and hydrothorax are observed. So this in lungs, red color or purple colored areas in apical and cardiac lobes. Then fibrinous exudate. So definitely if fibrinous exudate is there and there is a damage to the lung, in turn leads to the respiratory distress in the animal, and the animal suffers a lot for respiration. Frothy discharges in the trachea is one of the important lesion that you observe in PPR. And in abomasum, congested lining with hemorrhages, small intestine congested with hemorrhages, lymph nodes appear swollen and soft, and in the large intestine, small red hemorrhages along the folds of the lining that join together and appear darker or green, black, either green color or black in stale carcasses. These are nothing but the zebra stripings. So this is the zebra striping pattern in case of PPR. So this is the sheep intestine affected with the PPR, showing hemorrhages as well as the blood clots. This is the goat intestine affected with the PPR, showing hemorrhages and blood clots. Then how to diagnose this disease? So clinical samples to be collected are tears, gum debris, tissues, unclotted blood, and clotted blood or serum. What is the laboratory diagnostic procedures? So isolation and identification of the virus. Isolation, it is not possible at field level. This is for the laboratory people to go for isolation and identification of the organism, but at field level also, VDs have small equipment like agarose, slide. With those things, you can conduct AGPT by taking vaccine as an antigen. Use vaccine as antigen, take the serum from the animal, go for AGPT. If the AGPT gives you result, then you can suspect that, or you can think that this animal is suffering with PPR. And the other one is countercurrent immunoelectrophoresis. Even for countercurrent immunoelectrophoresis also you require a small equipment which may not be possible at the field level. Then immunocaptured ELISA, that is enzyme linked immunosorbent assay, which is a sandwich ELISA using monoclonal antibodies to differentiate between PPR as well as the rinderpest. Competitive ELISA using monoclonal antibodies of N and H proteins to differentiate between PPR and rinderpest. Then immunofluorescence and immunoperoxidase test, polymerase chain reaction, and nucleic acid probes. These are the little bit advanced diagnostic techniques. And in case of serology, competitive ELISA and virus neutralization test. And this virus neutralization test is the one which is a prescribed international trade test for the diagnosis of PPR. Coming to the vaccination. There are several strains for the vaccination. Sungri 96, Arsur 87, Coimbatore 97, Nigerian 75. But these are the conventionally attenuated strains. And the thermo-adopted strain is Sungri 96, Jhansi 2003, Revati 2000. Arsur is the one which was used in Tamil Nadu. And majority of the Indian states, they are using Sungri strain as a vaccine against PPR. So the dose of this vaccine is a 10 to the power of 2.5 TCID50 virus particle in each dose. And this vaccination can be repeated at every 3 years. Then control programs, methods are required in majority of the diseases. Managemental methods are very, very important to control the diseases. In case of PPR also, quarantine is very, very important. If any new entry is there, any infected animal, better is slaughter of the infected animal. and proper disposal of the carcasses and contaminated fomites, decontamination, restriction on importation of sheep and goat from the affected areas. So these are the few important control measures that helps the farmers to reduce this infection. And the control of PPR mainly relies on movement control, that is quarantine, and the focused vaccination, ring vaccination, which is a prophylactic immunization in high risk populations.